Based on samples of 640 international students, a survey at UCLA found that discrimination also extends to these students' interaction with professors, staff, classmates, and the larger community. Examples of discriminatory acts include that a white staff was laughing at an international student's name and making fun of it in public.
In 2017, a number of Chinese students with East Asian names reported having their name tags ripped off their doors in multiple residence halls on campus. Chinese students at New York's Columbia University have turned an episode of ugly xenophobia into an opportunity for better understanding.
I'm from China.
I'm from South Korea.
Hi, I'm from China.
I'm from Tokyo, Japan.
I'm from China.
I'm from India.
China.
The US is a multicultural environment, which is very good for international students, because you will get like freedom here, and you will not be afraid of be judged by other peoples.
First one is like I was really like to experience different culture. I really want to I really like to travel to different country. So that's why I chose to live here, study here, and know more American culture.
In Georgia, which is in Atlanta. Well, I've never felt any like racism as myself being young, but my parents, according to my parents, they felt something like that in Atlanta.
Yeah, kind of, because I don't have a car, so if I want to go out, I have to take Uber or Lyft. So there's some like white people, drivers, after they know that I'm from China and I'm not from Beijing or Shanghai, this kind of like big cities, they will ask me like, how many siblings do you have? And I was like, I'm the only child in my family. And he was like, whoa, but I heard that Chinese people, they don't like girls, they like boys, and if they have like a baby girl, they will like throw it between somewhere like between the mountains and, you know, even like adopt a boy. And I was like, I feel really, really offended. I was like, my family love me very much, and they even give money to study abroad. And I don't know where he or she, the drivers, they heard about this. And so every time I just tell him that it's like these things, they did happen, but it was like they happened like 50 years ago, and they really need to update their knowledges about China and about Chinese people. So this is like something used to happen to me that makes me feel really offended just because I'm from China and I'm Asian people.
Absolutely. Like, there's like several examples, but the one example I would like to see is like, because most of my professors are white or like South Americans, like none of them are Asians. They have like a misconception of it, and then through that misconception, like they judge me, even though they start to talk to me. So I feel like that is like one unfairness of,
It's kind of unrespect.
I don't want to look down on the professors, but that's how I felt, and that's how I like got the reactions to the professors.
And we're talking about it, like almost all the domestic students, they say like the stereotype for Chinese students, they say they are really rich, and they feel like every Chinese student is like they are really rich and they drive Lamborghini like that. I know it's really fun, but they really say that. But I feel like actually it's not, and it made me feel bad, because like for me, I personally came here. It's a really like a huge burden for my family, and my family actually had to pay a lot and to experience a lot in order to be able to send me to study here.
But I heard stories from my friend. So one of my friend, when he was in the math class, his TA graded his homework unfairly because the TA said he did the questions wrong, but he got exactly the same answer with his classmates and the same procedure, but the TA just graded it wrong. So that was really unfair.
I mean, like, I don't know if she's like Asian, but like when she went to like office hour or talk to the TA, like they always like give a look to them, like But I never thought that it was because we are Asians. I always thought that because it's TA, like it's like the person kind of stuff.
One of my friends, she had a discussion session in like one of her classes. She said that she felt that this one Caucasian girl would never look at her in the eye when she would say something, and that she felt uncomfortable. Yeah, so me and my friend were talking that was kind of rude. I was like treating her like that.
When I walk on the streets with my boyfriend, people will oftentimes stare at us, and that makes me feel uncomfortable. I guess it's because me and my boyfriend are from different races, so people think that we shouldn't be together or anything. So they just stare at us.
And here's one thing. Like right now, I'm a mentor in ISEP, so I had to mentor the first year international students. And one of my mentees, she said in one of the academic English classes. So they said like when professor asked them to do some group discussion, actually in her group there is one person. I guess she already been American like 10 years. Like she actually is Damascus student, and she refused to talk to my mentee. And I don't know why. So and my mentee really feel bad. She didn't want to talk to her, and the professor also can't because their group, like only their group is keep silent. And the professor asked the girl, like, why you don't want to talk to them? And the girl just said directly, because they are Chinese, their English is so bad, I don't want to talk to them. So I feel so bad, and yeah, that's one thing.
Last quarter, my friends and I took geology class, and one day we went to TA's office hour and wanted to ask him some questions about our final exams. Before us, an American student was talking with TA about several questions. The TA explained every question for him patiently, but he still didn't understand one question. Then TA just explained the question step by step. However, when we were talking with our TAs, he was so indifferent and just explained two questions for us. And when I asked him the same question again, he just said, go to read your book and review professor's PPT. So I just feel like the TA treated us unfairly just because we are international students.
The very first time when I felt like that I was treated unfairly was when I was a freshman studying at UCI, and I was living at the Mesa Court. My roommate and I were the only two Chinese international students living on the first floor of the hall. And someday, some people dumped their food in the ladies' bathroom, and it was so smelly. None of us were certain who did that such thing, but they just hypothesized that it was my roommate and I. And they put a paper on our door, and it says, stop dumping your food in the toilet. It's so nasty and gross. Just behave, you Chinese people. And I feel so angry and offended. And yeah, but I don't really want to think about this because it's so wrong.
Hi everyone, my name is Sun and this is my second year at UCI. I'm a math major student. As an international student from China, I do not experience some serious or terrible discrimination in my life, but I do have experienced some small cases like personal behavior that makes me uncomfortable. One of my professors, he really likes using examples of China to make a comparison in his class, like maybe 2 to 3 times per class. But as an international student, I feel a little uncomfortable because he seldom uses other countries' example. Another thing is that last time when I went to a TA's office hour, I saw the student before me who was sitting in his seat and the TA was standing in front of the whiteboard to explain the problem. But when it's my turn, I was standing in front of the whiteboard to write all the answers, but the TA was just sitting in his seat all the time. I feel like I was treated differently from other students.
Obviously, the issue of racism definitely reaches further than just misunderstandings between domestic and international students. Students should enroll in diverse courses on cultural studies to learn more about issues of gender, race, literacy, and power. They also need to learn how to critically analyze the ways in which race and privileges are communicated in the world nowadays. It's something we need to actively address so that we can eventually benefit from stimulating cross-cultural interactions.